I better get, we'll start with, we'll call our regular session for Monday, January 13th, 2025 to order. Do I have a motion to go into closed session for the items listed on the agenda? Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor with an aye?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We'll be back. How far you have learned? How are you, Miss Grantwell? You okay? You got anybody under control? I know you did. Yeah, the only problem is she's sitting right beside you. You probably have to keep tight rein on her anyway. Now living in Greensboro still? Where? Oh, unless they told you. Y'all working? Did I do email? Yeah, I bet. Two minutes before we start.
I take no responsibility for how she acts, okay, just that way. I had to sit between them.
It's gonna take both of us.
Know how to peace out.
What?
You know the name of the CCAE, the new director, the new president? Yeah.
Y'all wonder we're supposed to wait till 6 o'clock to start, so I'm just. Oh, I see Miss Howard. I didn't see Miss Howard back there. We'll consider ourselves back in open session. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you taking the time to be here. Like to take just a moment. Our newest board member, Ms. Anna Carlson, she was sworn in December, and we just welcome her to our board and look forward to working with her. And Ms. Jane Allen Wilson is unable to be here, but she's joined us virtually. But being she's virtual, she won't be voting on the items, but she'll hear the discussion, be able to ask questions as such. So again, thank you all for being here, and I will turn it over to you, Mr. Ham, please.
Said this last month and the month. I think I said this last month and the month before and the month before that every time we meet, it seems like there's something else in the world and our nation to somehow redirect our focus of our own personal lives. And to say the least, Western North Carolina is not off our minds. And now we have California. And there's just, from the video I've seen of California and Western North Carolina, there's just no words to explain what they're going through and how blessed we are. So that puts a burden on us to help them, and that's our responsibility. And that's national. Closer to home, the day after Christmas, one of our students, James Grant from Northwood, he was a junior, he passed away. And as if that's not bad enough, his mom is a member of the Northwood staff. So that was a double whammy for Northwood, and it hurts all of us when we lose one of our own. And our condolences and thoughts and prayers go out to the Grant family. So let's remember all those things. At this time, let's have our moment of silence. Thank you.
Let's all stand for our Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Let's see, we'll move on to our, do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Got a motion, do I have a second? Second. Got a motion and a second, all in favor with an aye? Aye. Any opposed, like sign? Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the personnel agenda?
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second, all in favor with an aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, like sign? And number 9, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor with an aye? Aye. Any opposed, like sign? Thank you. Okay, Dr. Jackson, superintendent's announcements and comments, please.
I think I have it. Yeah, I can
Be
make
louder now, so you're good.
two buttons tonight. That's too many. Good evening, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the opportunity to just share some of the amazing things that are going on in our school district. I will be sharing with you just a few of the things that happened in December as we launched into a new year. But before I do that, I want to say Happy New Year to everyone and a happy 2025. But in December, we had some great things going on that I don't want to leave without giving some level of celebration to the many staff members who put their time and effort into it. First, the Chatham Arts Guild. We had the annual arts at the Mill, which was amazing once again. If you've not attended that, I strongly encourage you to put that on your calendar. That is an amazing experience for our community as we move through. We had many concerts, but I was so very pleased to see the growth in our strings program down at the Siler City and Virginia Cross Elementary Schools. That program is now about 3 years old, but they had great concerts otherwise. But that is an amazing program that we have been watching grow over the past few years, and just watching how proud those youngsters are to take those instruments and learn them from the ground up. And hopefully we're going to continue to grow that program. But you see recorders at the bottom, but those students at the top are string players who have fallen in love with that instrument, and they keep coming back, and the program keeps growing. The next item is Mr. Michael Triplett was named our December Equity Champion, and we celebrate the work that he does for our students. Again, the fine arts are growing in the western end of the county. At Chatham Central, which has not, we've talked about at the beginning of the year, they've not had a full-time band director in many years. And so this year they do. And as you can see, that program is really starting to grow, and he's beginning to build the necessary things at that program, and finding just nuggets of talent throughout the building. A young man in the bottom corner, I can't remember his name, but he's a tremendous singer, and he was here and did a little mini concert right here in the lobby of this building for our holiday breakfast this year. He's going to be an amazing performer as he grows. But you can see where the schools in that feeder pattern join together to begin to build the community they need to build that program. Next item is our science fair, which was held at Jordan Matthews High School. Our students again presented things that I can't pronounce, and they some of the science work was just amazing. So we were excited about that. Our students at Seaforth High School participated in the state finals of the Quill and placed third overall. And our student Evian Swire of George Moses Horton won the narrative state champion. This is a part of our NCASA Scholastic Cup competition where our students participate across the state against their others in multiple competitions and literary works and different things. And our students are extremely competitive in this. And Dr. Moran has promised me that we're bringing the cup home this year. Right? She's like giving me a low thumbs up. And Perry Harrison, just an amazing holiday concert there. I got to attend. It is just amazing what they do there with their chorus program. One of our smaller schools, but a great and really just strong music program there. Excited about that. Our Chatham Early College was recognized as the Piedmont Triad's one of their signature schools, representing Chatham County this year. We recognize a school in each district each year, and this year, based on their historical record of just academic excellence, Chatham Early College was recognized as our signature school, and so we were excited to celebrate with them. Again, our dance program had their, Seaforth had their winter concert. And one of the things that we've not really celebrated in our district are our dance programs. And as you can see from these pictures, just amazing, amazing work. And their choral program also, I think sometimes we forget that Seaforth is a school that's 3 years old. And they behave like a much older school. And so we're excited about the quality and maturity of those programs. We have the Piedmont Health Mobile, the dental clinic, Visit Siler City. This is a great asset in our community where our students get opportunities to learn about good dental hygiene, and it's free. Say that? Yeah. They can receive services on the dental mobile free of charge, and we are so excited about that and being able to offer that to our families. Here's the holiday card that went out. Our students, we recognized a student at the last board meeting, but we wanted you to see those holiday cards and the designs that we had to choose from. Our students did a great job with that. And with that, we are going to, there's only one other thing that I would announce, and I'm sure everybody wants to know, and that's that the Commanders did win last night. I just want everybody to know that.
By doink.
That's right. So we're excited about that, and we do great work in our district, and I'm just excited about what 2025 has in store for us here in Chatham County.
Before you move on, I don't know if y'all have noticed or not, but we've got one of the exceptional superintendents, probably in the country, that gets out to these events for our children. So we appreciate that tremendously, Dr. Jackson, because a lot of times as busy as administration is, it's tough to get to all of them, and you get to a lot of them. So it's impressive.
We do our best, sir. Thank you. Thank you. And as well, we have board members who support us, and we're just a good community. And I keep saying that let's continue to wrap around our kids and demonstrate and show up for them every chance that we get. So that's what I appreciate most about being here. So thank you, sir. And then today, it was a great pivot to celebrate. January is School Board Appreciation Month, and I'd like for everyone in the room to just stand and give our school board a great hand for the work that they do for our students every single day, all day, especially Ms. Turner.
Thank you for that.
They really are just an amazing.
Now, did Ms. Turner, she's supposed to make her speech?
This is where Ms. Turner makes her speech.
And we won't even put Mr. Blyce's 3-minute timer on. You can just be eloquent.
Yeah. Moving on, thank you, sir, and thank you for the opportunity to share. Moving through the rest of my time.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Superintendent Jackson. I'm Chris Poston, Senior Executive Director for Excellence and Opportunity. Tonight, we're doing something a little bit different where we are saluting staff members who've submitted proposals to support work that aligns with our Excellence and Opportunity commitment that supports all kids in their school. And we want to salute tonight Ms. Crystal Peaster from Virginia Cross Elementary and her principal, Ms. Beckett. Ms. Feaster submitted a proposal that we would like to support that reduces the predictability and ensures success for all of her students that she works with as a curriculum coach at Virginia Cross Elementary School. And her project is called Breakfast Brainiacs. The Breakfast Brainiac programs offers targeted math before school tutoring to support students based on their data. Students will receive small group instruction, goal setting, and fluency practice 3 days a week from 7 to 7:50 a.m. The program aims to boost math proficiency and to close the achievement gaps by providing focused, structured, consistent learning in a consistent setting. Thank you, Ms. Feaster, for championing students and designing opportunities for success. Thank you.
Thank you.
When I read that, all that was before the bell rang.
We get it done at Virginia.
Thank you, Ms. Feaster.
I'm waiting for my big check, like I wanted that.
The prize patrol.
That's right. Ms. Bond, our second recipient, could not be here tonight. She had an emergency that came up, but we want to salute her as well. She's from North Chatham School. Her proposal is to implement a rigorous, culturally rich curriculum for learners in grades 3-5. The program will immerse students in diverse global perspectives that sharpen their critical thinking, literacy, and empathy towards others. And we want to also salute and thank Ms. Bond from North Chatham. Again, she couldn't be here tonight. So thank you all.
I got clicker happy. Good evening, board members. I have the honor of telling you all about December's Champions of Character. As reflected in the Chatham County Schools Code of Civility, we invite students, staff, and our community stakeholders to submit some student names for the category they best fall under for our Champions of Character Word of the Month. Our core beliefs become observable behaviors by teaching, modeling, and encompassing our habits of character in all we do. In doing so, we inspire learning and empower all learners to be productive citizens. December's characteristics is perseverance. Scholars who persevere challenge themselves. When something is hard, those who persevere will keep trying and will ask for help. At this time, I would like to recognize fourth grade student, Mr. Alexis Osario Espinoza from Virginia Cross Elementary School. How are you? Did you have a good break? Yeah. Now this is for you, some prizes, and then we also have a certificate. And if you don't mind, I'm going to read what your nominator wrote about you. Is that okay? All right. So Alexis's nominator describes Alexis as always up for a challenge and never backs down, even if he knows it will be tough. Not only is he willing to try the challenge, but also share his ideas and teach others about ways to tackle something hard. Alexis doesn't get frustrated or upset if he doesn't know how to do something, but instead comes and asks for help so that he knows what to do in the future. He takes any feedback I give him and immediately applies it to his learning. You absolutely exemplify December's perseverance characteristic. Congratulations.
I want to let's give a fist bump.
Good job. Every month, we also select a staff member from the district who has had a powerful impact on shaping the direction of someone's life, someone who exemplifies the power of one. In December, Miss Wendy Albright from the Bondley School was named as the Power of One recipient, and she's here tonight. Your nominator submitted the following statement about you. Miss Albright is just as her name implies, Albright. She is such a positive influence on all the students at Bondley School. I have worked alongside her for the past 3+ years, so I see almost daily the positive impact she has on the students here at Bondley. She truly cares about each other each student and each student's well-being. She serves not only as our front office administrative assistant, data manager, but also athletic director, coach, supporting the athletes in all areas, basketball, baseball, and volleyball. If she's ever absent, the students are forever asking, "Where's Miss Wendy?" She wears other hats too, it's a long list. Nurse, counselor, disciplinarian when needed. Miss Wendy is truly an asset to Bondley School and Chatham County Schools. We are blessed to have her serving the children and staff. We love Miss Wendy and feel she is most deserving of the Power One Award. And we agree. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
What do you not do?
Okay, and we're next moved to our public comments, and Mr. Blythe just gave me the sign. We don't have any signed up. So we'll move along to our, let's see, item A on information items, North Carolina School Board Association Board Policy Manual Updates, the 1000 series, in first reading, please. Dr.
Right.
Moran.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Dr. Amanda Moran, Assistant Superintendent for Academic Services and Instructional Support, and this aligns with all 5 of our priority areas. As you know, our district is working with the School Boards Association to conduct an audit of our full policy manual. Tonight, we have for you the 1000 series, which are governing principles. This policy update only has 5 policies for review. You'll notice in the chart, if we could pull up the chart.
You like this one really
I
well.
know, it's short this time. In the chart, you'll notice that many of these items are marked in green and, all right, maybe not. Many of the items are marked in green. They were done in our fall updates and our spring updates. While they're getting that up, I'll go ahead and just tell you what a couple of these changes are. Policy 1010 is the board authority and duties. This is updated because of the requirements of the Leandro case. It does not specifically list each of those requirements. It just stipulates that the board must abide by those requirements. The other policy to note that has more substantive changes, 1320, which is Title I Parent and Family Engagement. It requires that we have parental notice, which we do this already, but it does codify in the policy that we have to provide families in a timely manner all assessment data in any Title I school. Chatham County Schools does that already through our regular parent conference and quarterly updates. The other changes for the other policies are simply typos that the School Boards Association found or reference changes. So really only the 2 policies had any type of major changes. The other thing you'll notice in the very bottom, there is one regulation that is listed. It is the discrimination and harassment regulation. While we don't have to bring that for board approval, the School Boards Association did notice there were some discrepancies. So we put that on your list so that you know we will update that. And I think that's the bulk of the changes.
Any questions? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Moran. Stipend structure item B, you're back up again.
All right, so this particular item really also aligns with all 5 of our priority areas, but particularly our priority number 3 with faculty and staff. So Chatham County Schools has had a long-standing history of recognizing staff for extra duties, going above and beyond. Now, all of us have in our contracts additional duties as assigned. However, we do have many staff members that have leadership roles in our schools, or they have consistent positions that they hold in our school buildings. What is a little confusing about that is there are multiple paths that staff may receive some of those extra duty funds. So what we wanted to do this evening is just show you really quickly kind of the 3 paths in which that can happen for our students, our staff, sorry. So the first one is our unified stipend structure. And as you know, that is something that we brought to you not that long ago, just before the year started, and you voted for us to be able to start that this school year. The unified stipend structure is for those things that are happening consistently throughout the year on an annual basis. And to give you a couple of examples of that, that would be our athletic coaches. Those would be our arts folks who are doing performances and shows after hours. Those are our BT mentors, our AVID coordinators, and our grade level chairs. One of the changes that we made in this structure is in the past we only recognized our high school department chairs, and so in this new process, schools will be designating for grades K through 8, also recognizing those staff who are serving in those leadership roles. And so that was added this year, and that will go into effect. And when you pull that particular stipend structure up, what is a little bit different about this particular area is that it has 14 categories, and inside each of those categories are the various roles that teachers play in each of those categories. And then the stipend payment structure, which is not, you guys finding it? If you'll click on the categories, each of the roles that staff can be given payment for are listed in each of these 14 categories. And what makes the unified stipend structure different is that when you look at the payment schedule calendar, if you'll click on that tab, it shows you that you're also being given recognition for years of experience. All right.
Question,
Yes,
do you want me to wait?
go ahead.
Y'all did yeoman's work beating this horse to find out every nook and cranny, and now that it's implemented and all, did you find out you covered all the bases, or did one or two things pop up?
Still learning.
Still learning, okay. And it's first year, so that's good, good.
Okay. So that's one level of district extra duty pay that staff can achieve. The second level is, if you'll pull up the next link, it is a stipend structure for, again, district work that staff may do, where the district is covering this particular pay, and this is a contract form that we use. This is for more intermittent type work, such as tutors that we hire to support in our schools that maybe didn't meet growth. This might be if we hired an art teacher in our district to support another school who maybe have a sub in a music class. We would provide some type of stipend, extra duty pay for that. Other examples might be summer curriculum writing. When we have large curriculum changes over the summer, we often will pay some of our teachers to come in and create resources and update units and things like that. What we did back in about 2018, we worked to really solidify and make these numbers consistent. In the past, before that, we had some tutors being paid $15 an hour, some $12 an hour, and so what we've done is we've made that consistent across the district, so you can see our rate for tutors is $25 per hour. So this is kind of another way that staff can receive additional funding. One of the ways that some of our schools will use this, for example, if we have a classroom vacancy, our goal is always to get the very best, most qualified teacher in front of our students. And so in some cases, hiring a sub might not be the best option for that. Usually in high schools, when you have more complicated courses that not just anyone could come in and teach. And so what we often will do is have some of our teachers take on an additional section of students during their planning time, and they would use this particular stipend structure to receive additional pay for that work. Another example of that would be, and we see this more at the younger grades, when we have a sub that we're paying for the sub, but we also have another teacher who might be writing the lesson plans for the teacher when we have a classroom vacancy, we would give them that extra duty pay for writing those sub-lesson plans. And we work with principals and our academic services staff to work with each school on their unique needs in those areas. So that's kind of a second layer of extra duty and stipends. The third layer would be also using this same form, but it would be school level duties. So while we know we can't pay for every single thing that a staff member might do, schools do have unique needs. Some schools have scholastic competition teams. Some of them might have grounds cleanup crews that they will pay extra duties for, sometimes the yearbook. So every school kind of has their own needs depending upon what they might be doing each year. And so schools can use instructional funds and contract services funds that they have available to also use this same form. We ask that schools typically use their school improvement team process. So when they're looking at their budget for the year, they would talk as a school improvement team about how these stipends or extra duty funds would be done within their school. So again, there are three kind of paths. Unified stipend, which are our athletes and our things that are our arts, our coaches, and anything that is done on an annual basis that is consistent. And the second path are things that are intermittent, that we can't always predict. The third path are school level extra duties. I know that's a little bit confusing, so I'll pause and see if you have any questions. But really what we wanted to be able to show here is that in addition to just the unified stipend structure, we really do have a number of ways that we recognize staff who are going above and beyond. And we've really done that. I've been in the district 11 years, and this has been in place as long as I've been here, but I'm sure it was in existence prior to that as well. So any questions?
I think the confusing part was probably for y'all pulling all of this together and trying, and I know athletics hadn't been redone in many, many years, but to add all these others, I think it's a wonderful effort, and I appreciate it. And I've had several teachers that have mentioned they appreciate it also, so thank you very much.
Elementary teachers.
And if you look at the financial impact, obviously you'll hear in the heads up budget the piece about the unified stipend going in that. But if you look at collectively across all of those areas that we just mentioned, when we did kind of a rough estimate over the last few years, each year we spend about $1 million in extra duty payout for any of those three categories. So that's a large sum of funds that we're trying to support our staff.
I still think it's very well spent, so thank you very much. Any other questions, comments? Okay, we'll move on to item C. Dr. Moran, you're still there, and Dr. Burton, I think, Teach Chatham update?
Yeah. So this item is aligned to priorities 1, 3, and 5. And tonight we have a brief update on the Teach Chatham program. Teach Chatham began with the first cohort in 2022. And this really was an idea that started back in 2018. It was a partnership between Chatham County Schools, Carolina Community College, and UNC Chapel Hill. Our plans had a little bit of a stall because of the pandemic, but we were excited to get things back up and running. So tonight, Dr. Michelle Burton, our Executive Director for Secondary Programs, will share a little bit with you about where we are with Teach Chatham, and she'll also introduce you to our new cohort. That's the most exciting part. You get to meet some of our students, and she'll also share with you what our previous students have been doing in their coursework. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Burton.
Good evening, Mr. Leonard, board members, Dr. Jackson. As Dr. Moran said, I am Michelle Burton, and I am here to give you an update on Teach Chatham. So the goal for Teach Chatham was to provide students who are interested in education an opportunity to grow that interest and in return come back to work for Chatham County Schools. So we began this work through an application window, and in the first year we only did one application window. This year we'll actually have two. This evening you'll meet the fall Teach Chatham scholars, and then in the spring we hope to bring you another group of scholars. Ultimately, we would like to be able to provide some sort of financial support for students once they leave us, and hopefully when they come back to us. Students complete coursework aligned with educational opportunities in high school and because we have 2 courses that we offer now, as well as they can choose a pathway through CCCC through Career and College Promise. And so just to give you a little bit of information about what we're looking for when they submit an application, we're looking for student information, parent information. They do have to answer 2 essay questions. And then we look at their disciplinary records, their grades, things that they've participated so far throughout their educational career. And then we ask for recommendations from their teachers. And then the last thing we do is a student interview. So there is a pathway to complete the process of Teach Chatham, which again begins in high school, but we encourage students to choose the pathway that is best for them. So for some of them, it may be they take the high school courses, or they opt to take courses at CCCC while they're still in high school, or they choose just to go to a 4-year college or university and pursue an education degree. If they choose UNC, that will also lead them to a master's degree since they're one of our partners, and then ultimately they will come back to work for us. So this year, we have the pleasure of introducing 3 students to you this evening, and these are our new cohort members. And so as I call students' name, if you'll come up, and then you'll be introduced to the board. So the first student I'd like to introduce to you this evening is Peyton Douglas. Peyton is an 11th grader at Chatham Central High School. Peyton's goal is to be a 2nd grade teacher, and I'm just going to brag on Peyton for just a minute. Peyton came to us as if she were interviewing for the 2nd grade job that day. So we were very impressed, and we know that there are great things ahead for her here in Chatham County Schools. So Peyton, I encourage you to greet each of the members of the board. You're welcome.
Thank you, and good luck. I taught 1st grade.
The next student I would like to introduce to you is Mr. Landon Johnson, and Landon is also an 11th grader at Chatham Central High School. So Landon knows that he wants to teach possibly career and technical education, which I am overjoyed about, and we are going to help him find the right college for him to pursue his goals and dreams. So I would like to introduce to you Landon Johnson. And I will say that both of these students have close ties to education. Their parents or their relatives do work for us here in Chatham County Schools. And last but not least, I would like to introduce to you Lizbeth Martinez. Unfortunately, Lizbeth could not join us this evening, but she is a 10th grader at Jordan Matthews High School, and she is also very interested in teaching elementary school. Okay. There we go. So our first cohort of students, we have 2 left. They're current 12th graders. Kaylee Fogelman, who is a 12th grader at Jordan Matthews High School, and Kyle Stinson, who is a 12th grader at Seaforth High School.
And my understanding is from, that's Kyle's sophomore picture. He didn't like it, so he asked for an upgrade.
Yes, he has.
So,
Yes.
you know, that's something we probably
He
need
was
to
not happy with the picture that we have utilized, and so he let us know that we needed to change
made that
it.
clear.
He did. We did have 3 graduates last year: Bethany Fox from Seaforth High School, Madeline Culberson from Jordan Matthews High School, and Lauren Cavanis from Chatham Central High School. This clicker does not like me this evening, you all. So we encourage the scholars to participate in a variety of activities. We did have one of our scholars who actually graduated, but she committed to being a tutor in the summer Read to Achieve camp this past summer. She really enjoyed it and asked if she could come back again this year. We had students participate in question and answer session with current Meredith education students when they came to visit Chatham County in the spring of last year. We will be utilizing their services this year for the spelling bee our annual teacher job fair. We would like for them to be able to observe a teacher advisory meeting so they see how things work in Chatham and that teachers still have a voice. They will be working with Books on Break, Day of the Books. We will meet quarterly as a group to ensure they are having opportunities to explore and observe things of their choice. They will have an introduction to teaching fellows this spring as well. We will offer them an opportunity to be a tutor and read to achieve camp this summer, and I have been working with the YMCA to see if we can secure them counseling positions. We have several partners that we've been working with. Of course, Central Carolina Community College, the Chatham County Partnership for Children, the Chatham Education Foundation, UNC at Chapel Hill, the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club of America, and the University of North Carolina Systems. We did want to take a minute to explain the difference between Teach Chatham and Chatham Promise. And so our students, the students in Teach Chatham, as well as all other high school students in Chatham County schools, are eligible for Chatham Promise, which is actually, there's a Chatham Promise, a Harnett Promise, and a Lee Promise through Central Carolina Community College. The students must have completed 4 college courses or 12 credit hours, and the FAFSA form, and they are eligible to attend through Chatham Promise free of charge.
For 2 years, am I right on that?
For 2 years. And that should bring them up to an associate's degree.
We hadn't got a buy-in from a university yet, have we? No. We're hoping.
Not yet. And so this year, for the first time, Chatham County is also part of the North Carolina Teaching Fellows Pilot Grant. So we wrote a proposal to obtain $50,000 in an effort to expose our students to teaching fellows, as well as to help them apply and hopefully be accepted into the Teaching Fellows program. And so that is why we will have a Teaching Fellows workshop this spring, because that's one of the things we've committed to do. In addition to that, this year for the first time, Chatham County Schools has 2 courses that directly align with Teach Chatham, and can assist with teaching fellows. And that is Teaching as a Profession, which is a brand new CTE course that will be offered at Chatham Central High School this year, and Teacher Cadet, which is now being offered at Seaforth High School. So, our main goal has always been to provide some sort of financial support. So Teach Chatham students meeting the requirements can be eligible for scholarships and/or a signing bonus when they return to us for up to $10,000 to support coursework, post-secondary options, and it could be higher if we're able to receive additional donations from various philanthropic organizations. So students must complete a minimum of 20 hours of volunteer service related to education, and they will be required to return to Chatham County Schools and teach for a minimum of 3 years upon graduation if they receive the scholarship funds. Any student that is selected for Teaching Fellows, they don't need the funds because Teaching Fellows pays for everything, and so those students would then be eligible for the
As
signing
long as
bonus.
they go to the schools that,
Yes, sir. They have to go to one of the schools aligned with Teaching Fellows. And then the district will remain in contact with the students while they're in college and hopefully have them come and work during the summer with us.
well, that's also some substitute. We probably have, I know we've got students in college that are substitutes for us already, so I think that's another avenue that probably some of them are doing anyway, so that's great.
Substitute opportunity, a tutoring opportunity, both during the regular school year and the summer.
Great.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
I was happy to see the information about the scholarships.
Yes, ma'am.
And that you're procuring those scholarships from other places too. But what about the publicity for Teach Chatham? I mean, are we waiting for them to come back and actually teach before we blow up the whole world with this information about Teach Chatham? So
No, ma'am. The world was blown up beginning in October. to help the children understand that this was an opportunity for them. This is one of the reasons why we'll have 2 application processes this year. I will go into all of those courses that I just mentioned, the teacher cadet and the teaching as a profession, in hopes to get more students to apply and become a part of the program.
Is that
But
what
it's
you're
on
asking?
the-
You're asking about money wise?
No, that's what I'm asking. Yeah, I just want the information out there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we're also working closely with the Chatham Ed Foundation and looking for other donors through the Chatham Ed Foundation to help support this beyond what we're able to do just within the school district funds.
Other question?
Any other questions? Anybody? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for being here too. Peyton, thank you. Okay. We'll move to action items. And first up is the Wolf Speed donation to Chatham Robotics team. And Dr. Moran, and I see Ms. Burko, Dr. Burko is here to be accepting also, so that's great.
So this item is aligned with Priority 1, Curriculum and Innovation, and Priority 5, Communication and Community Engagement. We're really lucky in our district to have amazing community partners, and Wolfspeed is once again wanting to donate to our county robotics team, which is our Neon Kraken group that we've brought to prior board meetings for you to meet. And of course, in accordance with Policy 8220, it requires all donations beyond $5,000 to be approved by the board. Wolfspeed has committed to a generous donation of $20,000 to support this work. Our team is made up of students from Jordan Matthews High School, as well as the Chatham Early College, and they're expanding this year to include students from Chatham Middle as well. You'll also hear a little bit more at your retreat about other ways that we partner with Wolfspeed, but we're excited about this donation.
I move Chatham County Board of Education accept the donation of $20,000 from Wolfspeed Incorporated to be used to support Chatham County Robotics Team, of course, Neon Kraken's participation in the first robotics competition. I think Wolfspeed's hoping for maybe national, international stuff too, right? Am I correct on that? So that's a motion. Do I have a second? Got a second? Any discussion?
I just think this is cracking good.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
All in favor with an aye? Aye. Aye. Any disapprove, same way. All right. Thank you, Dr. Moran. Mr. Ham, I've lost my thought here for a minute here. Item B, 2526, heads up document.
Yeah.
Now, you don't look like Dr. Jackson, Ms. Smith here, but we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and let you come on up there anyway, so it's okay.
It's probably a compliment for. Mr. Chair, tonight we will begin the process of sharing where we are with initial thoughts around budget development today, and tomorrow we'll be talking about budget priorities with the board. Tonight, we just want to share where we are in our anticipated thinking around where we believe our request to the county will focus based on preliminary information. Again, I share with the public that we know very little at this point, and particularly with transitions at the state and the national levels. We cannot, at this point, really, with any sense of certainty, really talk about funding, to be quite frank. And so we have taken what we know at this point, and we've taken what we know our needs are going to be. And these are just our anticipated needs as of what we know right now.
And luckily, Dr. Jackson, we have our chair of our county commissioners, Ms. Karen Howard, here to hear it again. She's heard it already, but this is getting it again. And Ms. Howard, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ms. Howard. Again, I say this over and over again. I think our superpower is the fact that we've had stable leadership as a school system, that we're able to see both our the road that we've traveled, and we have very good lenses around where we want to go. People who understand it, so this makes a difference for us. I've shared a lot of the information that I will share before we share the numbers, but as I said to our county commissioners recently, it's important that we are able to show a return on the investment. Schools are an investment. And we go and we ask on a regular basis for that investment. And I think it's important for us to be able to say, if you've made this investment, then we are able to show you that that investment makes a difference. And so our why and is always aligned with our way. Every time that a person gets up to this podium, they really talk about how the work we're doing aligns with our strategic plan. That is not an accident. That is very intentional, and we want our community to understand that we are staying the course around where we're headed, how we're getting there, and why we're doing it. And so our work is tied with what our students do. We've said that we're going to provide it in a way in which there are 3 pathways for our kids to success, and that's through the arts, that's through athletics, and most importantly, that's through academics. And so we're going to do that. We continue to compete at the state level, and we are performing above the state average. We're not perfect, but we're making progress. We're getting there. So the resources that are being poured into our school system are not in vain. We recognize that we're going to have to continue to work to get better. We've got to be open about our challenges and make sure that we're doing that. We have our schools that are outperforming the state in terms of our school performance grade. 84% of our schools have met our internal self-imposed metric of a C or better, or meet and exceeding growth. That's 84% compared to the state 67%. And we think that's been consistent over the last few years. And we know for a fact that those schools that are not, that are shaded blue, that we have really intentional plans about how we work with those schools. We continue to perform well in the region. We're competitive with the districts around us. Wake County and Chapel Hill, we constantly kind of fight, and in certain areas we are better or above them. I'm not going to say better, but above, and they're above us in some areas. But when you look at the composite, we are continuing to be there. Our graduation rate, that is our proof in the pudding. 90% of our kids get to the launch pad. 90%. Now, our 4-year graduation rate, we calculated 89.7. The state said 90, and so we're going with that. We say that over and over again. We'll take that. But we also celebrate that 5-year graduation rate too, because that's an indication to our community that we don't give up on kids. That even those who don't get there at that first shot, we don't give up on them. And those kids who don't make it in their 4-year, with their 4-year cohort, we're still very successful at getting them there to the end. This tells you how competitive our kids are. $36 million worth of scholarship. And a lot of that money is tied to, again, an investment that this board authorized, and that's through Avid. A lot of our kids who are, in fact, experience our Avid programming, they are earning scholarship, and they're breaking cycles in their families so that they are the first in their families to make it to college. That's the return on an investment that you can't really quantify. Every single, and then we were just talking about the Teach Chatham and the Chatham Promise. Our kids earned over 5,000 credits, college credits last year. I was looking at we have nearly 800 kids enrolled in our dual enrollment programs, and another 700 kids enrolled in AP. So that's about 1,500 kids who are taking college level courses in Chatham County schools. That's a return on the investment, because when you look at that, that's money that we're giving back to parents, because they don't have to duplicate those courses when they get to college. And so we've got an amazing teacher corps, a return on investment. Last year, we really focused in on our supplement so that we could build our workforce. Our teachers have responded. They are doing the work and making sure that our kids are taken care of. We have some schools where 100% of our teachers met or exceeded growth. And so by the numbers, once again, we'll say that our demographics are shifting. We're about half white and half kids of color in our community, and that's a shift. And so we have to make sure that we are sensitive to the needs of all of our kids. And so when we talk about our strategic planning, we talk about all. We mean all, that every kid has a right to a good education here. Our enrollment continues to grow. You're going to hear more about that in our retreat tomorrow, about where we are with our enrollment, where we are with projections. We continue to serve as the largest employer. We are the largest employer in Chatham County. And so we have to have people understand that we are about $130, $140 million business on some days of the week. We have the operations of a large, very complex organization rest here in our school system because at its root, we're the biggest restaurant in town. We serve over 1 million meals every year. And this year, we're serving those meals to our kids free of charge. Another investment. And because of that, already we have served nearly 1 million meals already, and we're just halfway through the year. And so we've got auditors in the district this year auditing our food service program this year. They're excited to see, I'm excited to hear what they're doing there. We're the largest Uber in town. We've got transportation. We transport over 1 million miles a year. And realistically, we do it safely. That's a return on the investment that we're providing. And so we still have major challenges that are up against us. Growth is here. Program options, equitable opportunities for all students. Communication, making sure we are telling the story where we need to tell the story to the right people at the right times, making sure that we're balancing the needs of our funding across the board and that our aging facilities are taking place, but most importantly, that we're doing it in a safe place for adults and kids. You'll hear more about this. This is the old slide. You'll see the new slide tomorrow. I will just say, surprise, surprise. The growth is starting, and so you'll see that tomorrow. We have many, many promising practices that are in place here, and one we will be sharing pretty soon, and that's our One Academy, where we've made the decision that we don't throw away kids. That's a return on an investment. We are investing in those kids who have fallen out of love with school, and we're just giving them a chance to come back and date for a little while, at least till you can get your diploma. Then you can go on and be the adult you want to be. And so we have lots of amazing things that we're doing for our kids. Promising practices, and we just heard about the unified stipend, honoring the work that teachers do every single day, increasing that supplement, working with our commissioners. Those investments matter. And then you'll hear more again tomorrow about Choose Chatham and us trying to address the issue of housing for our employees here in town. That's not something that schools do. But we've decided we're going to wade into that space to help our teachers find places to live so that they can live in this community. And so those are investments. Taking care of our students. You're going to hear about all of those things that you've invested in around the work around Yonder Pouch and Gaggle and the Go Guardian and the work that we're doing to keep our kids safe while they're with us. That's an investment. And so ultimately, it really is, if the investment is worth it, then the return definitely is what we really want for our schools. And I said at our state of the schools that every year I want us to know that our school system is strong. It's growing, it's performing, but most of all, it's shining. We started our year with that theme. We want our school system to be an example, not just for those who have kids in our school system. We want it to be an attractor for those who don't. We want it to be a return on investment for those who don't have kids in our system. And so as we build out a budget, that's what we're putting at the front. We're putting those kinds of things on the table. But I wanted you to have a sense of this is not just coming up every year saying, gimme, gimme, gimme. This is truly about how we invest and how we take those investments and build upon a school system that this community can be proud of. So I'm going to turn it over to Brittany. She's going to share with you just our assumptions that we have right now. And we are excited that Brittany Smith is our finance officer, and she will be leading us through the work right now. And so we're excited to have her make her debut right here at the board meeting. So there you go, Brittany.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. So this first slide just kind of gives you a comparison from the 23 school year to the 24 being last year, just how we ranked amongst other counties in North Carolina. In regards to our different funding sources. So in our state funding, we actually went up 10 spots, which was only an increase of $587. But then in our federal funding, we actually dropped quite significantly. Main reason for that drop, that $743 drop, was mainly ESSER funds. In 23, we used the majority of our ESSER funds. We still had a little bit left in 24. In the current school year in 25, we have very, very little. So that explains that big drop. The local funding has remained the same. We've remained the same in rank, but we did increase 199. So total funding overall, that was an increase of very small increase, but still an increase of $43.
Could I ask a question, right? Well, I just thought of this too. Could, by us being diligent and spending our ESSER money like we're supposed to, could, making sure, and other districts might have waited till the last, could that skew the 52-42 is what I was wondering. I didn't know if it could or not. All right, if ESSER money, ours was spent earlier, right? And some districts were spending later. And I wondered if maybe by some spending later, that might also skew the 52-42 down there about ranking LEAs.
Probably could, yes.
I just wondered. Sorry, Brittany, go ahead.
Good, you're good.
It may accelerate for a year.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if it might have changed. Yeah.
And to piggyback on that, because we were due diligent in spending the money, we didn't come up at the end like so many systems around us and releasing staff and teachers and principals and assistant principals, because I won't say they overspent, but they didn't budget well.
Administration did a really good job in Chatham County, yeah.
Did a good job.
So this next slide, it just gives you kind of a comparison of the last 5 years in our ask of the county. And you can see the past 2 years, it has been a rather large increase, partially due to supplement was a big one, our new classified pay scale that added to that a little bit. The 22-23 year was so small because we did have a lot of ESSER money, so we didn't feel the need to ask for any additional funds there because we had those ESSER dollars. And then the previous 2 years were very similar. Go ahead.
It just hit me when you say the term increase. We could revert to Dr. Jackson's terminology of investment.
Investment. I like that.
It does go up, it does increase, but we're investing.
That's right. So our priorities for the coming school year, for the 25-26 school year, of course, we always aim to enhance our workforce, and you'll see the ways we're going to be doing that, hopefully by reinstating our master's supplement, and then also investing in to make our salary supplement, our salary supplement, increasing it again just a tad bit more than we did last year. Securing financial stability, this would just be paying for those increases in our fixed cost, operational costs, all of those things that seem to go up every year and we can't control. Promoting equity and student achievement, our funding our free lunch and free breakfast initiative that we put in place this year, and then strengthening the safety and modernization of the district, increasing our capital outlay funding, and putting in the safety measures that we have put in and modernizing.
On the student lunch,
And breakfast,
what?
and breakfast, yeah.
And breakfast, yeah. Have we lit the fire under other systems to follow suit? I would like to know that we're pushing the envelope there and getting other people, at least 2 other systems that have abundance of money.
Right.
We are seeing other districts, and I don't know if we are the impetus for that, but we're seeing a lot of districts, and I think that the pandemic has something to do with that. We were able to do that, and we demonstrated that we were able to do that. So I think it's very difficult for people to backtrack off of that commitment. And I think, so I would say we're seeing it. I can't say that it's us that's pushing that.
And we're hoping the feds don't back off.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
So our first item is the restoration of master supplement, and we've got a $250,000 amount on that. So quite a few years back, the state decided that they would not pay for master's level. They would not pay master's level salary unless you had taken your first master's level course in August of 2013, unless you're in a position that requires a master's. So we have quite a few teachers here in Chatham that have a master's degree. However, the state says we cannot give them the pay.
We got
for
it
that
after
master's degree.
2013, in other words, basically, or weren't taking it during that time, okay.
There are some surrounding counties that provide this supplement. So this would be trying to be competitive with those surrounding counties also.
Is there any talk at the state level that they may, okay,
Not right now.
I mean,
They're asking, State Board of Education is asking. for
They're
it.
asking, but
They're
there
asking.
just hasn't been the appetite
no,
for the
not
past
legislature.
10 years. They've just not been hungry enough for 10 years.
So this $250,000 would cover us to be able to provide this supplement to those teachers.
and that would be a big incentive for recruitment.
Correct.
It's important to recognize, too, there are teachers who have their masters, but they got it within that window, and they are, in fact, paid by the state for their masters.
Right.
So you could have 2 teachers, same years of experience, teaching right next door to each other, and one earned their masters, and one earned their masters maybe a year after it was put in place versus the other, and so that therein lies the real challenge. Okay.
The next item is fixed employee costs of $400,000.
Bad.
So this year, with the 25 school year, we saw a large increase of over $500 per employee just on our health insurance alone. So it jumped from last school year, it was $7,557 to this current school year is $8,095. We're anticipating about a $200 increase per employee, but it could be much larger than that. We just don't know at this point in the year.
And they might also, our rumblings, maybe the state treasurer too, where putting some of the cost onto the employee too, more so.
That's right. That's right.
That could change too.
Which in effect is a pay cut.
Correct, with not much of a pay increase, yeah.
Right. Another item would be the retirement cost growth. Currently this year, our matching retirement that we have to pay on each employee is 24.04%, and we're estimating about a 2% increase to that. The 26%, again, that's another thing that We do not know at this point in the year. There's been no any kind of indication of what that rate may be yet. Preparing for a 3 to 4% salary increase for teachers, all employees. And then this just ensures that we keep our benefits and wages competitive. Any questions on that? Next item would be fixed operational costs of $300,000. This would be to cover increases in our property insurance, cybersecurity insurance, all of those mandated insurances that we have to pay. We've been alerted that we will have some increases this coming school year, and this fixed operational, it also addresses rising utility costs, just to keep everything running and everybody happy. The next item is another increase to the certified and classified supplement. We would like to add another $400 to the licensed staff. Right now, a BT, a beginning teacher, their supplement is $6,800 per year, and we would like to increase it to $7,200. And then add, for our classified staff, add another $100. So right now, a brand new classified employee that comes to us, they get a $1,500 supplement, and we would like to increase that to $1,600. And again, this is just an attempt to remain competitive to our surrounding counties, and because everybody else keeps raising theirs too, so. Next item is our school nutrition meals, $300,000. This will not cover the full cost, but it will help to cover the majority of it, or at least half of it. So the way we are able to provide free breakfast and free lunch for all students is we're using the CEP, the community eligibility provision. All of our schools, except for 3, qualify under this provision. So the cost that we're absorbing right now is basically those 3 schools that do not qualify.
And they have students in there that do qualify, but
Sir.
you got to have a certain percentage to meet that.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
And that's an interesting perspective because those other schools that do qualify, they have kids in those schools who don't qualify, and it really is. That's a great way to look at it, Mr. Leonard.
Our next item is our substitute contract of $375,000. So with the 22-23 school year, we chose to go the contracted route, and we're using ESS, which is our vendor. We have increased our fill rate for our subs from 79%, and Dr. Batten said today that it was 98 or 99%, 99. So this, of course, is a contracted service. It costs a little bit more than we were paying to employ these subs, or paying these subs through payroll. But it is benefiting us using this contracted service. They're just able to attract more, a bigger pool of qualified individuals that can come and sub in our schools.
A little sidelight to that. I know, mentioned about our teacher cadets and subbing and whatever. I know of one that we have, a student that's graduated at Carolina and graduated in December, and is going to law school in August, and is filling in a position at one of our schools for the rest of the semester. And fantastic young lady, so she'll do a wonderful job. But I mean, that's a great way of getting somebody in. So.
Right.
And you'll get a full report on ESS tomorrow as well.
Okay.
Next next item is our unified stipend schedule, and you've heard a lot about that tonight. 240,000 increase for that. And again, that's just to cover, we already have been covering the athletic coaches, but this is to cover band, theater, teacher, grade level leads, grade level chairs, just to fully fund that stipend schedule.
And this year we, use fund balance, I guess, as much as anything else.
To cover the gap, yes, sir.
The next item is an additional 250,000 on our capital outlay. Last year was the first year we got an increase on capital outlay in quite a while. So we have asked for an additional 250,000, and that would be to continue to cover those rising costs on materials, services, the contracted services that we cannot do here in-house, that we have to outsource, and to fund all those increases.
And we're not, so far, we've been very fortunate. Wake County's had a lot of problems with HVAC and closing schools, and we've been very, very fortunate in that. And that's in part with our maintenance, I'm sure. Doing a great job.
Only because of our maintenance. Those guys are really, really good.
So on top of all that, everything minus the 250 for capital outlay, we have to pay, of course, anything we get from the county, we have to pay a percentage to our charter schools. So in this, we have an additional almost 290,000 to cover that charter school transfer that we will send directly to them.
Help my memory, is it right now currently 12%?
Yes.
Based on the amount of students, am I correct?
So,
Ratio, whatever, yeah, okay.
so yeah, it'd be close to 6 million.
Total.
I think it was of interest when we shared this information with our county commissioners that the conversation was really about recognizing and understanding that these dollars, they go to charter schools outside of, and some of them, we have 3 or 4 inside Chatham County, but a lot of this money leaves Chatham County. And so this is local tax dollars that leave our county. Now they follow the student, but they go to approximately 16, 18 schools.
Yeah, it's close to 20.
Well, close to 20 different schools. With
The one as far away as, was it Boone? What did you say?
We don't have that one anymore, but at one point we did.
And so I think those are the questions with very little accountability on our part. And we, I think the question came up, so we are requesting resources for free and reduced meals. Well, they don't provide those meals, but they all get, they get an increase because we get an increase, whether they provide those meals or not. That's a whole different conversation that maybe you may want to consider as you look at your legislative priorities. I think that's kind of where that conversation landed the other day with the commissioners. But I would ask the board to really think about how maybe there could be some advocacy in that space, because that, you know, when you begin to add all of those different things up, it's fine to provide that. It's a pass through. What we get, and we're very fortunate that our commissioners have been able to do that. But at its root, it's unaccountable. There's no accountability for it. I can't tell you what that $6 million is for, and I'm sure it's meant they're doing the right things for kids with those resources. But we have to come and give account for what we do. We have to show the return on the investment, as I've tried to talk about here. I don't know if we get that same courtesy from those who we advocate for these resources for on an annual basis.
Not only county commissioners having the ability, they have the desire to help our young people. So that's also part of it.
Sure.
I'm so glad that they do have it, because a lot of counties don't have that. But still, I worry that by the state not being accountable for what is obligated under the Constitution to do, that's gonna put a strain on our county, and there's gonna be some services,
That's right.
including ours,
That's right.
that might have to take a hit at some point, and I don't see the point in doing that.
That's right.
So this is a request summary, including the capital outlay. It is just shy of 3 million, 2,954,800. Is there any question on any of the categories or?
No cracking on this, please.
We could have gone just to this slide, but
I know.
the nitty gritty, but that's,
Any questions for Ms. Smith?
No,
Anybody?
David is not allowed.
Thank you. First, her first presentation to us, you know, as the head, so we appreciate that tremendously. Brittany?
We're there. Thank you.
Yeah. Do we have a motion to approve?
so moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion, any questions? Thank you all so much for putting this together. All in favor with an aye? Aye. Any opposed, like sign? Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Moran, item C, United Way Memorandum of Understanding.
This item is aligned with Priority 2, Student Health and Safety, and Priority 5, Communication and Information Sharing. Our district has a long-standing history and partnership with the United Way of Chatham. This year, you may have heard, as you've entered in the community, about the United Way Big Bold Goal program. That's like a tongue twister. It seeks to move 2,000 individuals out of poverty within 2,000 days. This work will be completed with a number of community partner agencies, such as Communities in Schools, Chatham County DSS, our school district, Chatham Literacy, Chatham County Partnership for Children. The target school pilot in the first phase is Siler City Elementary, and essentially this MOU would be committing us to two things. One would be partnering student support, so we would identify and refer eligible families for support. The United Way will have a new position in the county called a family navigator that will help connect families to partner agencies and other supports within our community. The second requirement for us as a school district would be to share any pertinent data related to the student so that we could track student and family progress. Our board attorney did review this MOU and added some language in there to make sure that we were really tight with data sharing and FERPA guidelines. There's no cost to us as a school district. The United Way will be providing the funding to support this work. We are seeking your approval on this MOU this evening.
Move Chatham County Board of Education approve United Way MOU as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Now, any question, any discussion? Sounds like it's a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah. The executive director of the United Way of Chatham, Katie Childs, she also let us know today that in addition to the paper copy, they will send a DocuSign. It will go directly, I believe, to Mr. Leonard, she shared. So just be on the lookout for that.
How long is the period for the pilot?
2,000 days.
Oh, that's right, 2,000, 2,000.
Okay.
Any questions? Any others? All in favor with an aye? Aye. Any opposed, like sign? Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Moran.
Thank you.
Okay, item D, Mr. Blyce, you have to wait, don't you? Risk and Strategic Management Corporation Contract Renewal. You're up.
Finally got up there.
I prefer to think worth the wait.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Superintendent Jackson, this item applies to goals 2 and 3 in our strategic plan, which are student health and safety, faculty, and staff. This is a renewal of our contract with RSM, the Risk and Strategic Management. You've heard me talk about them several times in different meetings and different settings. This is a 3-year renewal. The contract totals $135,372, $27 for the 3-year length. And we're asking the board to approve renewing that contract.
And they've been with us the whole time, or we've been with them the whole time? Because I remember that, am I correct on that?
We have been with them, it's between 8 and 10 years now.
Well, I was trying to think when the first one, because I remember I had it at Horton at the, I remember that, so yeah. So I knew it's been that long. God.
It's been a bit. It has been a very very positive and very strong relationship for us with them.
Professional that day that I saw, I know that
The,
extremely.
the thing that I really appreciate about RSM, in addition to all the resources that we receive from them, is that they are a 24/7 resource for us when bad things happen in the world. And we pick up the phone and we call, and it doesn't matter where they are in the world, and truly where they are in the world, they call us back, and we get the benefit of their knowledge and their credentials to help us work through things.
And I believe you were strategic in starting that for our school system and got ahead of many in the state, so we appreciate that too very much.
Ms. Fowler was my partner in all that we did.
We won't say crime in that either now, okay?
I move that the Chatham County Board of Education approve the 3-year contract extension with RSM
Second.
Got a motion, a second.
as presented.
Any questions? All in favor with an aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Mr. Blyce, thank you. Next, we'll have our mid-year board retreat tomorrow morning, starts at 8:30 at 79 West Innovation Hub at 120 Mosaic Boulevard, Pittsburgh, North Carolina, my understanding, right behind Jersey Mike's, in case you're looking there in particular.
And before we go, a big thank you to the, our Public Relations Department for the new look on the PowerPoint. They, it's, we got people in charge of the remote all over the place. So,
You don't have one, do you?
no, I don't have one. I did tap Dr. Jackson one time. The slide didn't change. I go, change it. So,
That's pretty good.
they're all learning, but it's a new look and looks great.
Make sure I get my point of order here. All I need to do is declare a recess. We don't need a vote for that. Am I correct on that? We got a recess on there. So all I need to do is say, okay, we'll just recess till tomorrow morning at 8:30. Am I correct?
Time and place indicated.
So what I just said, and we'll see everybody in the morning. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Very much. We appreciate it.
Good meeting.
Thank you, Anna. Hopefully it would, I'll cut my.